Welcome back to MFO, everybody. I'm on Kentucky Lake. We're on day 3 of practice, and I'm taking a minute to just give a tip because I've found something over the last 3 days that's been working and figured this is a good time to take a couple minutes out of practice to fill you in on the old devil horse. This is the perfect time of year to be working that top water prop bait. I'll explain why, and boy, wait till you see what we caught on it. Stick around, guys. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher. We are here on Kentucky Lake, taking some time out of practice to bring you some tips. That is worth a subscribe, a like, send me your comments. We really appreciate that. Guys, a devil's horse or a prop bait. I've been using the Berkley Spin Rocket. And this is the perfect time of year to be throwing that prop bait. The bass are just thinking about moving up to the beds. There's a few on beds, mostly males, but those big females are cruising around the bank. And this is the time when that prop bait really works. And here's why. You throw that prop bait up along, in 4 feet or less water, you're basically targeting both fish. If you've got a male that's starting to work beds and starting to get that bed ready, he is aggressive. He's trying to clean out any other fish that's in that area, and he's really becoming territorial. So a little prop bait up on the surface, he's going to come up and annihilate that because he's starting to get that bed ready. On the same token, the females that are cruising the banks and getting ready and staging, they're feeding up to be ready to spawn. And so when they see a prop bait or a dying minnow up on the top, they come up and crush it. And that's what we had happen here. We've had, in the last 3 days, I've had males that have come up and just really angrily attack that prop bait, and I've also had females that have just annihilated it, looking to eat it. So guys, when you're throwing a prop bait, a couple of tips in terms of how to throw it and where to throw it. Like I said, mostly you're throwing this bait in about 4 or 5 feet or less. Don't be afraid to put it right up on the bank and work it out. The other thing is, this is a bait that's pretty aggressive just by popping the rod. I find that you work it a lot like a jerk bait, only slower. Pop, let it spray that water, and then let it sit. And then, just like we talked about with the jerk bait jiggle, just kind of tick it, and it gets that bait to the propellers spin just a little bit, and the bait itself quivers. And a lot of times that's when you get the strike. The big swoosh and the water spraying up, that gets the bass's attention, and they're underneath it. And then that little jiggle is what gets them going, and that's what triggers them to bite. I started this episode by talking about the devil's horse. The devil's horse is the old standby. The new Berkley Spin Rocket, the one thing that I can't stress enough is the hooks on that Spin Rocket. This is a bait that you do want super, super sharp hooks, and the Berkley Spin Rocket comes with very, very sharp hooks. I tell you what, guys, you have to be careful tying this bait on, and you absolutely need to be careful when you land a fish in terms of being able to get that fish safely in the boat without getting yourself hooked with that fish flopping around. That is probably the biggest downside to throwing the Berkley Spin Rocket. I've already gotten a hook in my thumb with one little bass that attacked it and ended up flipping around and getting a hook in my thumb. But guys, this is the time of year to be throwing a topwater prop bait. Devil's Horse, Spin Rocket, this is it. You want to get out there. There's very limited times when this bait is effective, and this is it. So guys, get out there, throw that topwater prop bait, and crush them. Take a look at this fish that I caught using a topwater. Guys, we'll see you again tomorrow on another episode of Mark Fisher Outdoors. Take care, everybody.